members of the NRM does not stop us from criticizing the wrongdoings of our party members, also our chairperson. We are Ugandans who love their country and its people. NRM just is a pressure group composed of many youth leaders who came out to fight for democracy, justice, equal opportunities within our party and the country, Uganda at large. In the early 80s, President Museveni, together with his colleagues, went to the battlefield under the guise of liberating this country from tyranny, corruption, economic independence, extrajudicial killings, election malpractices, human torture, dictatorship, to mention but a few. Despite all this, Uganda was rather captured but not liberated. That is why Ugandans always hear the statements of "we fought and liberated this country." So we are entitled to enjoy the peace and fruits of our sacrifice from the self-proclaimed liberators. Many questions have been posed to Ugandans who come out to openly criticize the proclaimed liberators. Questions like, where were you when we were fighting? Who are you in this country? Who is the speaker? What is parliament? And statements like, go report me to God, hang yourself, we made sacrifices and many others. Ugandans are tired of such arrogant utterances, and we as members of the Nation for Justice have questions for our so-called proclaimed liberators. We are here to ask them, please, liberators, the so-called liberators, who sent you to the battlefield? Question number one. How much are you demanding Ugandans for the so-called liberation struggle, such that we can pay you? How many relatives and property did you lose? More so, many Ugandans lost their relatives, children, fathers, and property. Our parents and grandparents contributed a lot to the struggle, to the so-called liberation struggle, by giving in their sons, daughters to fight, providing food and shelter to soldiers. Therefore, in the look of things, this means that we are entitled to have equal share on the country's cake. Fellow Ugandans, their song, they always sing that and statements like, we made sacrifices, we fought, let us enjoy our peace and freedom. Clearly sends a provoking message to us that if we as Ugandans want peace, justice, progress, and freedom, we should also use the same means the self-proclaimed liberators used in the 80s to attain them. Many of the reasons as to why President Museveni and his colleagues went to the war in the 80s have just been promoted. Many killings, murders, and tortures have happened under this regime, worse than the commonly blackmailed regime of Idi Amin Dada. The government has failed to produce reports for so many deaths, and we wonder how they managed to bring out a report on the just occurred death of one Michael Alinda, aka Bobi Wine, which also has a lot of queries from the public. Many of Ugandan heroes like Kaira, Nkwanga, Kanabi, Serwanga Ruanga, who took part in the liberation struggle, were mysteriously killed by gunmen. We cannot forget the Kiwetere massacre in Kanungu, the Kasese massacre by Ugandan security operatives, the street killings of Muslim clerics, the questionable deaths of Simon Chigundu of Gwynedd Bank, Major Chigundu, General Nakairima, Major General Kazini, AIGP Felix Kawesi, ASP Muhammad Chirumira, Brigadier Nobo Mayombo, Honorable Aberiga, Honorable Nebanda, Worship Joan Kagezi, a number of women who were killed in around Wakiso district, Mr. Sevulime, the late Sevulime, and the late Yasin Kauma. It's now a year since he was killed in Arua, and many others. Most of these killings were conducted by gunmen, and yet we know a gun as being a tool of the government, thereby pinning it. No conclusive reports have ever been made of these said killings, though Ugandans continue demanding for them. A number of unlawful arrests and kidnaps have been carried out by the street operatives, both in uniform and casual wear. ISO ranking top in these kidnaps. We say kidnaps because we are aware that ISO has no mandate to arrest anyone, though they have many torture houses in the country. The one in Chengera being used often these days. It has become a common norm of ISO to kidnap and torture operation leaders and other people who come out to criticize the current regime. The Peoplepower group being targeted of March recent. Honorable Kyagulanyi Robert, many of his supporters and colleagues are continuously being arrested and tortured due to their political activism and open opposition against President Museveni's regime. for not 3 years. Fellow Ugandans, please remember the torture that was inflicted on Kawaya Yusuf in broad daylight. The many young Muslims Muslim men who have always been arrested and tortured to accept crime. The arrest of one Kiseke, a businessman in Nansana. Just a few weeks back, there was a kidnap of Joseph Kabuleta and Kanso Mugisha. Similarly, on the 24th June, Kid Oprah Phoebe, chairperson of Union for Justice, was kidnapped and reappeared after 25 days. They appeared 25 days later after undergoing gross forms of torture. This has made many Ugandans to live under a state of fear and feel insecure, though President Museveni always brags about the peace and the security brought to this country. Only a few of these tortures have been cited here, but many of them go on unnoticed. All these crimes against humanity should not go unpunished. We therefore advocate for justice and compassion of the victims by government. We are talking with our friends and lawyers on filing a complaint to the prosecutor of the ICC, notifying him that there is a reasonable basis for ICC to investigations on the above atrocities. We therefore call upon all Ugandans who have ever been subject to any form of crimes mentioned above against humanity to join this initiative such that President Museveni and colleagues are made to pay for their deeds. On assuming power in the 80s, Museveni formed a fully functioning Uganda Development Corporation, a Uganda government agency that facilitates and promotes industrial and economic development of Uganda, which was formed in 1952, governing over 150 factories in the areas of Jinja, Ruzira, Namuwongo, and other places. Factories like Mulko, Mulbox, Dunlop, Nightil, Fishnet, Ugil, Tumpeko, Coffee Marketing Board, Butter, Uganda Blankets, Leather Spinning Mills, East African Tobacco, and companies like Uganda Airlines, East African Rails and Harbour. The list is endless. Ugandans were well employed within these factories and companies. Most of these were sold in the 90s under the guise of privatization to unknown investors, leading to their total collapse and closure. This goes to contribute to unemployment issues among the youth under this regime. Today, President Museveni is revamping the industrial sector with questionable investors, mostly Chinese, giving them free land, tax holidays, and some are even given cash capital. It is evident, though, that most of these so-called investors are just puppets working for Museveni and family. These mistreat Ugandans and offer them yard payments, yet they are untouchables. Most of the profits they make are not invested within the country. They only offer casual work to Ugandans and deny us managerial posts. They produce substandard goods, and they directly engage in the local market, selling their products at low prices and suffocating the local business. This has brought about immense poverty among Ugandans and increased labor exportation to the Arab countries, where many Ugandan youths are overworked, exploited, tortured, yet our government gets a lot of revenue from them. Uganda produces engineers, doctors, economists, pharmacists who have professionalism in different economic sectors. However, it has become the liberty approach by the first family to deny qualified Ugandans big government contracts, but rather offer the same to quasi-puppet partners. For the Ugandans, our country's economy is directly controlled by the first family. This is evident in their monopoly of the manufacturing, exportation and importation sectors. The government only issues licenses of exportation and importation of coffee, beef, fish, minerals, hides and labor to the first family and its relatives. The first family openly uses organs to protect their monopoly tendencies. Basing on the above facts adduced, we call upon all Ugandans, regardless of their political affiliation, to stand up and fight for total economic independence, peace, security, democracy, and justice. Fellow Ugandans, please endeavor to register and get your national IDs, because the power of change, the power to change our country for the better lies in your hands, for God and our country. We are still bringing you episodes of reasons as why we left President. We are against the sole candidate of President Museveni Kaguta, and he's coming back in 2021. This is just a portion of it. We are going to tackle sector by sector. We are going to bring the infrastructure sector, how corrupt this government is, how the health sector has been destroyed, and so many others. So today we are stopping at that point, and we are saying we are also feeling the grief that the family of all the deceased who were killed in this battle. Late Yasin Kauma is now a year that since he was shot dead in Arua. We are feeling sorry and we are feeling the grief. So we are calling upon all Ugandans to please come out and stand and change this country for the better.